The area south of Naworth Castle near Brampton in the county of Cumbria, England, has always seemed to be a place of dark mystery to me. When I was a child, we occasionally travelled this way home from nearby Milton Chapel back to Lanercost on Sunday afternoons. The dense surrounding forest and shady avenue of trees leading down to Naworth Station has always unsettled me. The station, its platform and waiting room have long since gone, and all that remains here now is a level crossing and the station master's house, which stands alone, a private dwelling. The trains from Carlisle to Newcastle still pass through here at regular intervals. One Saturday in April 2019, I took advantage of the fine weather and decided to check out the area. My childhood sense of unease, which I have always felt along this stretch of road, was perhaps understandable when years later I discovered that Naworth Station has a tragic past. One terrible afternoon, on Monday the 30th of August 1926, 9 people lost their lives here. What was to be a pleasant excursion from Gilsland to Alston in an open-topped motor coach, or charabanc as they were then called, would be shockingly cut short in an appalling disaster. As the charabanc in which the day trippers were travelling approached the level crossing at Naworth Station, the driver sounded his horn to alert the station porter to open the gates. Unknown to all, the 1:18 p.m. express train from Newcastle to Carlisle was rounding the blind bend in the track at a speed of between 45 and 50 miles per hour. The driver of the charabanc had looked right as his vehicle crossed the railway line, but as he looked left, to his horror he saw the express train hurtling towards them on a collision course. He stepped on his accelerator pedal to try and propel his vehicle clear of the line and had almost made it to the other side, but it was seconds too late. The driver of the train only saw the charabanc at the last minute, and though he tried to reverse the engine and apply the brake, the train struck the rear section of the charabanc, smashing the body of the vehicle to matchwood and spinning it 90 degrees. The press article from the following day is stomach-churning. Most of the occupants of the charabanc were thrown from the open-top vehicle in the carnage. One of the first passengers who rushed from the halted train to give aid to the injured was a World War I veteran who had served in the fields of Flanders just 8 years previously. He said that he had seen some terrible sights in France where one expected to see them, but to find on a peaceful English highway a heap of dead and mangled men, women and children was the most distressing sight he had ever confronted. The injured were transported by flatbed truck to Brampton Cottage Hospital a couple of miles away. The dead were laid out in the waiting room, awaiting the inquest. The detailed official report by the Ministry of Transport concluded that the accident was caused by human error, and that the blame lay with the station porter who had opened the gates without checking the signals which would have warned of an approaching train. Why the porter was so lax in his duties that day remains a mystery, as up to that time his work record was exemplary, with no previous cause for concern by those who appointed him for the role. He was by all accounts physically fit and consistently performed his duties with diligence, but what could have happened that day to cause his brain to fog and his judgment to be impaired? We may never know the answers. The immediate vicinity of Naworth Station throws up more questions in my mind. The station stands within the estate of Naworth Castle, set in a staggeringly beautiful location. In medieval times, the castle was once the seat of the Dacre family, but the castle has a turbulent history. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, Naworth's Baron, the rebellious Leonard Dacre, lost his estate after the disastrous Battle of Helbeck in 1570, only a few miles away in Gelt Woods near Castle Carrick and Torkin village. The castle and its estate were given over to the Howard family, to whom the estate belongs today. As with many sites of traumatic occurrence or conflict, the Naworth area has more than its fair share of paranormal activity and phenomena. There are stories of a white lady who is reputed to haunt the stream which flows past the battlements of the castle. Legend has it that she is the ghost of a young girl that one of the lords of the Dacre family seduced. The girl was ultimately rejected by Lord Dacre, and in her distress, allegedly, she drowned herself in the stream that flows past the castle. The girl's mother was then reputed to have cursed the Dacre family. Local folklore mentions a narrow, steep-sided lane leading from Lanercost to Birkhurst, near the village of Low Row, at the north-eastern edge of the Naworth Forest. This lane is reputed to be haunted by a boggle, the Scottish border's term for a folklorish being or ghost. Cumbria has numerous stories of boggles, and even some places are named after them. For example, Bogglebeck near Torkin village and Boggle Hall near Plumpton outside Penrith. The station itself has also been the site where people have had chilling experiences. Over the years, workmen working on the line near the station have reported hearing the cries of injured children, even when the place was deserted. I heard of one railway worker who was resting in a hut by the station, and a gentleman tapped on the window to ask for a light for his cigarette. When the workman opened the door, the man had vanished. Milton Rig Wood, in which the station is situated, holds the reputation by one paranormal website as being one of the top 10 creepiest locations in the UK. Hardly surprising, as the British newspaper Archive turns up a catalogue of articles detailing yet more tragic events occurring on the Naworth estate and its immediate borders. Untimely deaths, freak accidents, freak weather, suicides, and even murder. As I parked my car above the level crossing opposite Scarrow Hill Wood near the station, I kept asking myself what makes this locality so weird and creepy. Further research would uncover even more tragedy in this area, with possibly occultic undercurrents. Until next time.